right, I want to get started by removing one of the broken pieces, and I'm going to start with this 2x2 piece right here. I'm just going to hook it underneath and lift up. Wow, there's not much to this. Look at that. That's barely 3/4 of an inch. That's one of the thinnest pieces of bluestone I've ever seen. Now we flip out and look at the bottom. See all this white? That tells me that that was making contact with the sand underneath it, so it's wet. It's been damp. Look at the edges. There was nothing supporting the edges at all. That's probably why that piece snapped off.
I see.
Now the setting bed itself is sand. It's very hard to get fully compacted, so the stones tend to settle. All right, well, I'm gonna get this piece out of there. You get that one and we'll dig it out. Now we want to dig down about 3 inches to accommodate the new bluestone I'm gonna put in. What is that?
Hit something.
You gotta be kidding me. There's concrete underneath this walkway.
What does that mean for us?
It means for us that the mason who was here before, instead of laying this bluestone in a bed of mortar on top of the concrete, he cheaped out, put down sand, and put the bluestone in on top of it.
Is it fixable?
It's fixable, but let me show you one thing. This is what I was originally gonna do. I brought this bluestone. It's 2.5 to 3 inches thick. See the difference?
So small.
This is what I wanted to put in to keep everything from moving. So what we're gonna have to do now is we're gonna have to get some thin bluestone and lay it in a wet stone dust bed so it doesn't move around.
Got it.
So I'm gonna go look for the bluestone if you can finish digging these things out.
Absolutely.
All right, Rob, good news. I found a local masonry yard that had the thin bluestone. We're back in business.
That's great, Roger, and I cleared out as much as I could for you.
Looks great. Now, remember this spot?
Yes.
This is where the 4 corners came together. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna flip-flop the pieces, put the big one up here, the little one here, and that'll eliminate that 4-corner spot that I didn't like so much.
Absolutely.
Now to set these, I'm gonna use this stone dust mixed with water.
Looks really wet to me.
It has to be to fill in all those voids in the bottom of the bluestone.
I see.
So I'm gonna lay in a good batch of that. And when I think I got enough, I'm just gonna take it, smooth it off. You'll get to watch the first one, and then maybe you can do the second one. Okay, one more and we'll play with that. Now, because these stones are so thin, I am not gonna be able to bang on them a lot. So I wanna get this stone dust so that it's almost at the grade without having to really compact it by hitting the stone with a hammer. So I'm just using the edge of the old stone and smoothing the bed out. Just take and set it in. Now that is a hair too low. I'm gonna just flip it up. You put a little more right up in that corner for me. You get it? Keep going. All right, now put this one right up in the corner. Now take and smooth the two together. Go that way with it. Let's see how we make out now. All right, that looks better, much better. Now what I want to do is I'm just going to take the hammer very lightly. It's just a little high. Now do you see this stuff comes squishing out?
Yes.
That means it's fully compact underneath the stone and it's coming up through that space. So that tells me that I get full compaction underneath the stone. Now that looks pretty good like that. What we're gonna do is we're gonna leave it sit like that for a minute. Now I'm gonna put in the other piece. Would you take and give me some big shovelfuls of this?
Absolutely.
Okay, drop it. Hold on. Drop it right in here for me. This one's slightly thicker than that one. Keep it going. Fill it right up for me. A couple more probably. See how it's just a little high?
Yes.
That's what I want, because that'll allow me to pack it down in. Now, I'm not using a level on this. What's important is how the pieces fit together. That's the important thing. This walk probably is not level. So we'll take and hit it down a few more times. We'll come back and just wash it off and we'll be in good shape. Now we have a piece here that the corner broke off, but we're still gonna be able to use this for a stone. We're gonna cut it to the right size. Now we need a stone that measures 11 3/4 by 24. We already have the 24-inch dimension here. So I'm gonna take and measure out 11 3/4 and put a mark right there. I'll lay out 11 3/4 on this end. I'll just take the level, line it up, and I'm just going to make a line, and now I'm going to cut the stone. Now to cut the stone, I'm going to use this 4-inch grinder with a diamond blade on it. When I go to cut this, it's going to make a lot of dust and a lot of little particles flying around. So you disappear.
Okay.
I'm going to put on my safety stuff. All right, what do you say? You ready to make a cut?
I sure am, Roger, but that seemed awful dusty to me.
It was. It's a dry cut blade, and that's the problem with it is there's a lot of dust that kicks up in the air. What we have here is a 7-inch worm drive saw. It has a diamond blade. We've added an attachment to the hose, which allows us to put water on that blade as it's cutting and cut down on the dust.
Got it.
So you ready to give it a shot?
I sure am.
Safety equipment on. Line it up on that line. Take your time. All the way through?
All the way through.
Look at that. Perfect. Let's set it in place. All right, Rob, one last step. Whenever I do a stone walkway, I like to sweep polymeric sand into the joints. Now this is it here, it's just a polymer mixed with sand, but it hardens and it keeps the weeds from getting in there, insects, stops water from going in, but more importantly, it binds all the stones together. Now, in order to do that, we have to scrape all this material out of the joints about 1.5 inches deep.
So Roger, what's this tool I'm using?
These are actually stakes left over from installing steel edging. You can use these, you can use a screwdriver, anything that'll get between the joints and lift the material out.
Got it.
One thing about the sand, it's really important to get it off the surface of the bluestone. We don't want it sticking to that when we water it in. Now we're just going to water the walk lightly to activate the polymer and lock all the stone together.
Got it.
The trick is just to moisten it down. You don't want to run it so hard that you're pushing the sand out of the joints. You think you got it?
I do.
Okay, here you go. Take your time. What you're going to do is you're going to hit it now. We're going to wait about 10 to 15 minutes. We're going to hit it again, and that's it. It'll be all done.
Fantastic. Roger, I want to thank you. Just replacing a few stones made such a difference. It looks great.
Came out good.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Roger, sounds like you were surprised to find concrete underneath that walkway.
Was I ever? If I had a concrete walkway and I wanted to put bluestone on top, I would lay down a mortar bed, set the thin bluestone in that, and then do all the joints in mortar.
How about if you build new?
If I was building new, I'd dig out all the loam, put in gravel, compact it, inch layer of stone dust, and then I'd set the bluestone in only. Instead of the thin ones, I would use pieces that were 1.5 to 2.5 inches thick. They'll stand up on their own and they will not crack.
So thick like this, you wouldn't use mortar.
No, not at all.
Got it.
Now, a few other things to think about when it comes to bluestone. First, if you love a color like this, a real dark blue, you have to order what's called blue. If you look at these two pieces, okay, see the differences in color? This is called full range bluestone, and you get purples and rust colors and greens, and I love it that way.
Okay.
Really, all the imperfections to me.
Those aren't imperfections. That's natural cleft. That's the way the stone comes out of the quarry. Some people don't like that. At the quarry, they'll actually take stone and they'll thermal it. So feel the texture on that, Richard.
So superheat it to make it like this?
Right, it pops and it's
That's
all
cool.
smooth with none of the clefts.
That's great.
Personally, I like the natural one.
I like this one. We could never live together.
Easy there, boys. Don't fight over it. All right, well, until next time, I'm Kevin O'Connor
I'm Roger Cook.
I'm Tom Silva.
And I'm Richard Theory.
for Ask This Old House. Blue, blue?
Walking down the street.